What's going on, everybody? Back again with another video. This week we'll be talking about social media. This one, probably the most interesting to me, the one I've been looking forward to, just because the role it plays in our lives, the good, the bad, but I mean, it's everywhere. Social media plays such a big part in our lives and our culture today as a society. And it was just really interesting to kind of reflect on what it means to me and read the history of it, how we got to where we are today. So I'm going to focus primarily on how it's affected me, some of my opinions, but I'm going to start off just a little bit of overview, some facts. Um, so we look like 1971 was when the first email was able to be sent. That wasn't too long ago. So it's pretty crazy to think like an email was just sent, what is that, 40 years ago, give or take? And now looking at everything we have. So, the first couple social media sites that I had never heard of were the Globe and Friendster. I had no idea what those were. Um, and then came along MySpace and Facebook and Twitter, and then eventually Instagram, Snapchat, and many more. But those were those are the big ones that pretty much everybody knows. So it's looking on it, is it honest? The thing with with social media, being online, false or fake news can be spread like wildfire. You get one tweet that looks right, or you get someone with a big following to send something out that's not true. That thing will get retweeted. That thing will get shared on Facebook. I mean, it will get out, and people will think it's true when, quite frankly, it's not. Um, like in the text, it said anyone who posts on Facebook is considered a reporter. So that's you're gonna see some stuff that's not true out there, but you're also gonna see some stuff that's like, wow, like I've never looked at something that way, or I've never had that perspective, I've never heard that, I never heard that side of the story. So that's personally why I like it, because it tends to give you a different perspective than most platforms. Independence, that one is because look, like we are being censored on these platforms. For example, with our president, he's had tweets taken down by Twitter, for being offensive, for promoting violence, and all the reasons that they gave. So we, the consumers, are being censored. So it's really depending on the company, depending on the platform. But most of these major ones, as the consumers, are being censored as to what we are putting out there. Productivity, it's extremely productive. I mean, you look at the impact it has in our society. You look at how quick you're able to get news out, and literally, something could happen in the Middle East right now, or overseas, wherever it may be. I get a notification right now while filming this video about what just happened 30 seconds ago. So it's pretty crazy. It's very productive. I know there's good and bad with it, but I really do believe that social media is good for us when we use it the right way. But I think it really is beneficial for society. So just some of my thoughts on social media. I'm not a big social media guy as far as my usage, but I do have accounts. I've had Facebook for a while. I've had an Instagram account, Twitter account, Snapchat. I believe that's it. That is it. But I look at what my social, because I remember I really got heavy into this in middle school. I was in 6th grade when Instagram really took off, and that's when Snapchat started coming along, and I got a Facebook right along then. And so I've been able to kind of look at stages of my life. Right, how was my social media use in middle school? How was my social media use in high school? And then now, college, entering adulthood. And it has changed very much. In middle school, I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to be funny, post funny pictures, get the most likes from my classmates. There was no substance behind it. High school was a lot different. That's when I first got my Twitter, was in high school. And I got into some trouble with some of the stuff I said. And it's not even bad stuff. It's just there was no substance to what I was saying and posting. I would retweet something and be like, oh, dang. I didn't even think about how that could hurt some of my friends. Or should I really have responded to that person in that way? Is that what like for me as a Christian, looking back on it, it's like, is that what Christ would have done? And no, that's not. And so now, interesting actually, there's a professional baseball player. His name's Trevor Bauer. He pitches for the Cincinnati Reds. He's been a real big social media guy during the whole quarantine and off season. He filmed these things called Bauer Bites. There's 9 episodes, and he invites different people each week, about 3 or 4 people, and they just have dinner and they talk. They're like 35 minutes long. The one that actually just came out yesterday, I was watching it, and it was Trevor and 2 young baseball players, younger in the minor leagues, and a retired baseball player. And something that really stuck out to me, because they were talking about social media and the topic of it, because in baseball it really is a hot topic. And one of the guys said, like, I'm looking at my social media use from before and what it is now. And before, there was no substance. I was not trying to make a difference. I was not trying to benefit people. It was just like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have retweeted that. It's like, oh, should I really have commented that? Should I really have put that on my story? Like, what is that benefit? And that really stuck out to me, because it's like, now I don't post as much, but when I do, I want to have substance. Like on Twitter, my retweets aren't going to be filled with a bunch of funny stuff. Like it'll be, you know, maybe a quote of scripture or something productive. So that's how I see it. I see the older that I get, I try to not post just nonsense stuff just because what's the point, you know? I want to use social media for what it's meant for, and it's to make a difference and to post substance, and that's something that I'm going to keep working on towards the future. Do I still retweet stuff that maybe I shouldn't have? Do I still slip up every now and then? Of course. But my goal is to just really watch what I post, making sure that, like, okay, like would my grandma be proud of seeing this? Would my parents be proud of this? Like, is this Christ-like? And so yeah, I just want my post to have substance and hopefully brighten someone's day, make a difference in someone, or have someone see that, like, oh man, like I can really agree with that, like that's awesome, and then have someone retweet that, and then that's when you see social media being good. You know, when people are retweeting and posting and sharing like the positive stuff, the good stuff, and that's substance. So that's all I got. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next week.